Right, hello. So this isn't going to be a really long stream because obviously I've still got mumps, my face still hurts. The worst of it is over, but there's still certain positions I can't move my jaw in. So hopefully a lot of you saw that video the other day. I saw that had a stupid amount of views, like the first 24 hours or something. But yeah, that's the main reason I've not been very active recently, because last week all of a sudden my mouth started getting more and more painful every day to the point I had to go to the doctors, or they basically, I did the appointment thing and they said, we need to see you, and then they gave me all the information about it. I'm not better, Henry, but it's getting better, if that makes sense. You don't suddenly recover from it. So it's basically my swelling's going down a bit each day in the face. As in, like, every day I can move my mouth a little bit more, but you still get kind of continuous pain around, like, a load where the jaw muscles are. And I've got general sort of cold flu symptoms from it, some malaise sort of thing. Of you just feel really tired and sort of achy. So at the moment, that's been that. That's why I've not been doing many videos. And obviously, as I said the other day, there won't necessarily be that many videos coming up in the next week or so anyway, just because of all the stuff that's currently going on. And in general, the UK seems to be going to shit with all the corona stuff as well, because if people haven't been following it, there's like 2 different now strains of corona going around the UK, or technically 3, I guess, if you count the old one. And they're like spreading faster, and like lots and lots of places are now going into like sudden lockdown. So that's that. A lot of the stuff I'm waiting for to do videos on in the post is obviously very, very slow at the moment because of all the stuff going on with both Christmas post, COVID, and Brexit all rolled into one. If people haven't seen by looking online, what's going on in the ferry ports. They're all rammed shut where France closed the borders and all that. So, not a very Merry Christmas, but I hope everybody's as well as possible. But yeah, mumps is pretty horrible. Let's see what my current temperature is. I'm not really having too much of a fever now, but it was 40 something the first day the doctor took my temperature. Is that going to pop up? Let's try again. It's something the first time it never quite. So 36.9. So that's on the high end of like normal temperatures. Yeah, I had a fever of like something like 40.4 the day the doctor wanted to see me, and I think YouTube comments are probably broken again, because I can only see 3 comments so far, even though 14 people are on. So it's probably doing that thing of error. You can look at the Wikipedia page, Joshua, but it swells your face up horribly. It's a virus, basically. It's an incredibly contagious virus, R rate of about 10 to 12. Same as measles, same as rubella, all of them which should be eliminated. But in the UK in the 90s, there was a cunt called Dr. Wakefield who's been struck off the medical register now because he got bribed to basically, and he was bribed, you can look into this, to say vaccines cause autism, or there's a correlation between vaccines and autism, and he was basically being bribed by a legal firm trying to sue vaccine manufacturers, and so he wrote a false report on it. That led to the rate of people taking vaccines going down, which meant diseases that were getting less and less frequent started coming back because people weren't being vaccinated against them. And the thing is with how vaccines work is that lots of vaccines, this will be the same with the corona ones that are being rolled out now. Let's say they have a 70 to 90% efficiency rate or efficacy rate, whatever they call it. That means if it's a 90% rate, it means essentially 9 out of 10 people vaccinated won't ever get or spread the disease. However, some people are vaccinated, like, 10% of those people might still be able to catch and spread the disease. There are also some people that literally can't be vaccinated for medical reasons. So if you have anti-vaxxers, what it ends up doing is it means there's not actually enough people who are actually receiving the vaccine, even if they want it, with things to stop it spreading. So hello, everybody that's coming on. So yeah, as I was saying, for the people who might have missed it at the beginning, my face hurts less now, but it still hurts. I'm still tired. Thank you very much, Leon. Did you sort them out, Frosty? But yeah, why was there a drunk person throwing rocks at your house? That doesn't sound good. No, well, as far as I'm aware, I've not had COVID-19. I've had 2 tests for it, but they weren't the ones that told you if you had it previously. They were ones that, told you if you, had it at the moment. I didn't. I'm not back properly yet, Tactical Pirate, because as I said, it still hurts to talk. I've got quite a lot of pain in like all my sinuses and that still. So with all that sort of stuff, and like corona, as far as I'm aware, I've not had corona, but I've not had an antibody test. I could have had it back in February or March when I had like flu for 2 weeks. That's good, Quinny. Hope you stay negative though. But yeah, I've got relatives at the moment that have got corona and all sorts of other shit, and the UK looks like it's going back into a really strict lockdown now because of all this new corona strains that are spreading faster. Well, radioactive cow, I don't really know what to think of it other than the fact it seems to spread faster. The only issue is that there's one, isn't there, with apparently they've also reported in South Africa, which is more dangerous to children, and that's the one that worries me more. Just because with normal corona, it's, thankfully, with how bad it is for everything else, it wasn't that, bad towards children, because a lot of diseases, that kill the elderly efficient also kill young children most really efficient, but corona's not done that. But if we get a strain of it that ends up, wiping out, children, that's going to be probably, absolutely fucking horrible. So the faster the vaccines come out, the better, Yeah, I'll flick that off. So yeah, as I said, for most of this year, there won't be many more videos or streams just because I'm still recovering from mumps. But yeah, loads of stuff can't move at the moment, Marcus, and that's France's fault. And I'm going to literally say it's France's fault because Macron, or whatever his name is doing it for populism reasons because he's not very popular. Yep, we are going into Oxford's going into Tier 4 on Boxing Day, Philip, which means loads and loads of shops are closed again and everything else. Cheers, Scott. I'm saying the worst of it is over now, but it's certainly not right. Well, no idea how I got it, Gash Goblin. I mean, I got it because people weren't vaccinated and somebody gave it me. But in terms of how did I get it, somebody just went into a public place that had mumps or had the bit of mumps, before you show symptoms, because it spreads about 4 or 5 times easier than corona. It's basically, from what I understand, mumps is one of those things. If somebody goes into an enclosed building with you and they've got it, you will get it, kind of thing. Because where they've had outbreaks before, it's literally been like one person goes into a nightclub and gives it everybody there at the end of the evening if they hadn't had the vaccine or didn't luck out by having, a vaccine that worked for them. It's mumps, not lumps. And as I was saying, you never know with this stuff because unless you actually see somebody who's visibly ill with it, you don't know. But they are doing that interestingly, like track and trace thing with me. But I don't know if it'll come to anything because it is on like Public Health England or whatever that's called now. Lists of like worrying diseases. Obviously, corona takes up all the news now, but at some point, obviously, it's held up because all the post isn't working. And the hospital are sending me a load of stuff to stick DNA into because they want to see, is there any similarities between my DNA and other people's DNA that have had the vaccine and still got it. I don't see you if you're off, Frosty. What is that radioactive cow? Corona? Yeah, the thing is, a lot of people just don't care unless it affects them, does it? Sadly, about this stuff. It might do, Daniel, but I really don't know because all the sizing info for those isn't public other than size 1 is the biggest size and the higher the number goes, there's smaller sizes. I can't even remember that episode, Murray. I'm going to have to rewatch that now. I mean, I like Red Dwarf, but yeah. But yeah, like I said, the problem with vaccines is there's basically... see if I can get an image up for it. Because there's like quite a good image I saw a while ago that was like a graph between the uptake of the MMR vaccine and like where that went down because of Wakefield and other stuff, and then some of the diseases coming back. Because I don't know if I can find the exact thing now. Right, okay, so this is measles on this one. Oh, fuck's sake, it's on one of those things of like, buy our full-time, thing. So I can't link that one. But yeah, I don't know if I can see any of these pictures to link easily on Google Images, but there's lots of like proper like medical channels that explain all this properly. But yeah, if you have a vaccine uptake go down and it's not 100% efficient vaccine, sadly, anti-vaxxers make stuff come back. Cool, Circuit. But yeah, stuff is going to take a while at the moment, isn't it? Because of all the stuff going on with Christmas postage and Brexit stuff and Corona stuff. My favourite cheek filter mask, probably the PBF. But as I said, unfortunately, my face looked like this recently. That's basically what mumps does. It turns your face into a PBF. Because yeah, that's apparently the really fast way a doctor can tell if you have mumps or if you've got a bacterial facial infection. If it's bacterial, one side of your face swells up more. When it's mumps, it sort of swells up horribly evenly because all of your kind of face is getting the virus, go into all the ducts in it. Sadly, no, Vrantix. In the UK, vaccination is not compulsory. And the whole thing was, this is because of the 1990s Wakefield shit. Basically, what happened was a doctor was struck off now called Wakefield. He was basically bribed by a solicitor to do a fake medical paper. Well, it was like a real medical paper, but, using fake cherry-picked evidence to say that the MMR vaccine was causing autism. Thank you very much, Philip. I do really appreciate that. It's not completely gone, but as I said, I'm not getting over that. But so what happened was he released this paper basically as a kind of insurance fraud type of thing, saying there was a correlation between children getting the MMR vaccine and getting diagnosed with autism. Again, it was completely fraudulent, whatever, but lots of parents were really worried by that, so they didn't give their children the vaccine, or they didn't give them a follow-up vaccine, whatever. So basically, the rates of children vaccinated against measles, mumps, and rubella went down. I did have an MMR vaccine, but I don't know if I actually had both. I definitely had one, but they're meant to following it up with a second one. Now they're thinking they might even need to do a third one, as like a more efficient booster. Now, with the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine, measles and rubella had something like a 98% efficiency with the vaccine. Mumps was a lot lower. It was like something like 80% plus. So the point was, if you were going to get any of them and you'd had the vaccine, the chances are you're going to get mumps. So what ended up happening then was obviously, because lots of parents in the 90s of their kids didn't give them the vaccine, those kids later on, if there's an outbreak of this stuff, they're people who can basically catch it and spread it really easily because they've not had the vaccine. And the problem is, unless you've had enough people with the vaccine, the percentage isn't good enough to stop it spreading. So that's why now and again we have measles outbreaks in parts of the UK, mumps and rubella outbreaks. And measles is the worst one because that can cripple kids for life if they get that. Well, mumps can, but the chances are a lot lower of getting the, whatever it's called, the bit that goes to your spine from mumps. Hard to say, Gash Goblin, because as I said, it's the same thing. I'm saving more and more every month. One has to come up for a price that I'm willing to pay for it. The thing isn't going to change. The answer's still the same, so I'd rather, it didn't get brought up constantly. Because I can never tell when that sort of, people doing it to take the piss or not. But no, it's not the case over here, Nirvana, because that's bringing up a lot of stuff for corona vaccines where people are saying it should be compulsory. No, that's just UV damage that makes the Soviet mask look brown. You're going to have to prove that a vaccine is going to have side effects. Regular tablets you take every day have side effects. But, the whole stuff with vaccines is generally anti-science kind of bullshit. What am I doing during Christmas, Joshua? Nothing. Staying at home, seeing one other member of the family. Thank you very much, Ron, as well. And he's Planet Zog on his other name. Thank you. Yeah, I'll tell you what, when my mumps was really, really bad, the only thing that relieved the pain, because the doctors didn't give me any additional painkillers for it, was booze. Ultraviolet, cheeky Alex. Oh, your particular one, JJ. Yeah, but like I said, that's the problem. You're going to keep getting measles, mumps, and rubella outbreaks because of the fucking, because of what fucking Wakefield did. And in general, anti-vax bullshit is the reason certain diseases haven't gone away yet. Do you know what was really depressing? I ended up looking into this after I got mumps because a load of my relatives said, oh no, you can't have caught mumps because mumps goes away. I've been isolated in my room mostly, Marcus. But my dad had measles as a kid, and my mum had rubella, and they've all had the vaccines as well. So in theory, they should be all right. But I've not been allowed out of the house. The doctor said if I went to work, that's a criminal offence. It's like if you go to work with corona and you've got it. But yeah, that's the problem is, obviously, if you have anti-vax kind of bullshit stuff they let into the news and people believe it and don't take vaccines, diseases come back. And what was really disappointing, I think, because I was reading into this, because when I had the swollen face, people going, "Oh, it looks like you've got mumps," but you can't have mumps because mumps is mumps was wiped out by the MMR vaccine. And then when I saw the doctor, he said, "Oh, you've got mumps," and I said, "Wow," because I was actually had to physically go in. He had all like the proper corona style gear on to come in for an appointment, so they could properly document that I'd got mumps for all the sort of stuff. And he said, I said, "Well, but I thought I had the MMR vaccine. Well, I got mumps." And he was explaining the entire thing about, he was explaining the whole thing about, like the herd immunity stuff with the percentage of how well vaccines work and all the other stuff. And yeah, and it was just one of those things. If you're really unlucky, even if you have an MMR jab, you'll still get mumps, And again, it's the importance of vaccination and whatever else. So yeah, what I've been doing is basically stuck in my room, drinking soup most of the time, because up until a day or two ago, I couldn't manage solid foods. It still hurts to eat solids, but as of now, I can open my mouth that far. When my mumps was really bad, my mouth would open about this far, like get one finger in your mouth. But yeah, so the really disappointing thing, thing was that was I thought, let me look up how many diseases have been wiped out due to vaccination. How many diseases do you think have been wiped out due to vaccination? It's only one. I thought it was more than that. The only one that's been permanently wiped out is smallpox, and thank fuck for that. But that was because in the 70s, before the anti-vax nonsense started as much as it had in the 90s, the World Health Organization, like literally every world government, was committed to completely wiping out smallpox through vaccination. There's lots of other diseases that we've got into like the 97, 98% wiped out. And then sadly, these diseases, including fucking polio, are coming back now because of, anti-vax bullshit. And this is why it kind of ends up making me quite authoritarian when you realize that there's kids that literally would rather their kids be crippled for life because, I read something online that says, like, a vaccine can give my kids autism, whatever else. But again, there still should be all, obviously, the fucking proper research and whatever else done into vaccines. Don't get me wrong, they shouldn't be held to a different level of standards and anything else. They do need all the proper checks and everything done on them. But it does just make me angry in a degree that there's people who are literally like, "Oh, I don't mind other people suffering as long as it's not me because of, my selfishness." Yeah, polio is horrendous. My dad says, Murray, he knows somebody, I don't know if the person's still alive, but somebody in his year at school, or like when he went to school, that was crippled due to polio. And people, the problem is because vaccines, I suppose, in a way, are a victim of their own success, aren't they? Because people nowadays go, "Oh, I don't see anybody with polio. Oh, my kid can take their chances." I have no idea who Not a Moose is talking to, but he's not. You're going to have to specify that, Not a Moose. Chicken pox. I mean, it's better that. Oh, he's been wiped out anyway. I mean, chicken pox. It's better to get chicken pox and measles, but they can vaccinate against chicken pox now. And the problem is with chicken pox, is I had chicken pox when I was a kid. You can still get shingles, can't you, later in life if you had chicken pox? So I hope I don't get shingles. But yeah, the problem is with lots of these diseases is even if you get the disease and statistically it's not that bad, there's still like a 1% chance you might get something else. So if you let every single person get them, I mean, I think you don't need a vaccine against stupidity, JJ. I think in reality, you just need good education. If people are exposed to good education, now to fact check the sources they're reading and everything, I think in general more people would be more sensible, but sadly I think there's all this stuff of, oh, I can't believe stuff scientists tell me, but I can believe what Karen on Facebook says, is generally quite a dangerous thing. Because again, there's lots of stuff I don't know, so I won't claim to be an expert on it. I'll listen to what people who are informed about it know about it, not random people on the internet. What will give you permanent damage, gas mask? What disease? What disease will give you permanent damage? I don't know, because I don't think you've typed it in the comment. Yeah, thankfully, Ron, I have not had it as far as I'm aware so far, and I hope I don't. But as I said, because I've had chickenpox as a kid, I think there's a risk you can get it, isn't there? Polio can cripple you. Jem, from what I understand, if we want to talk very basic numbers, I think 1 in 5 people that got polio recovered from it completely. 1 in 5 people died from it, and then about 3 of the 5 people would get all sorts of different levels of disabilities for life, including people that were crippled so bad they had to be in an iron lung that would breathe through them like a ventilator for their entire life. And again, polio, thankfully, is no longer in any Western countries due to mass vaccination, but there's still places in, for example, Pakistan, where aid workers get shot for trying to give kids polio vaccines because, groups like the Taliban think vaccines are more dangerous than a disease that literally cripples and kills children. Measles can be bad, gas mask. And again, it's one of those things, some people get it completely recover. A small percentage of people die from it, but lots of people can get measles and have some sort of lifelong, related illness from it, or, something that wasn't as good as before they got it, if that makes sense. The problem with getting measles later in life, doesn't measles wipe out a load of your body's immune system so you can recatch stuff you've had before? But yeah, the point is, lots of these diseases, if you could be given a vaccine which only side effects, like 1 in a million people, is a severe allergic reaction, and for most people, oh, my arm hurts for a day, I'd rather have a vaccine than a disease that will make me feel ill for weeks, has a small percentage chance of killing you or crippling you. I think I'd rather go with the vaccine. But yeah, the thing is, lots of these diseases have so many fucking horrible things they can do later down the line that, And as I've already said in this stream, no, it is not mandatory to have vaccines in the UK. Again, that's a big political arguing point. Over here, you're not forced to have vaccines. But, that's where they're now saying, should there be changes in the law, where if you refuse the corona vaccines when they're completely all approved and everybody can have one, where companies could say, oh, you're not coming in our restaurant because you don't have the vaccine. And again, that does sound a bit totalitarian, but I can understand why a company wouldn't want to put themselves at risk because of one random person, saying, well, I've not had a vaccine, I want to eat here anyway. Yeah. But anyway, I don't want the whole stream to turn into vaxing and anti-vaxing sort of shit. I'm just sort of bringing that up because, again, I got something I was vaccinated against as a child with a very tiny percentage chance I could ever get it. But no, due to people refusing vaccines, those sort of things are coming back. And, the problem is that I'm definitely thinking in the sense that if a younger, more vulnerable child got it, like a baby or a toddler, the chances of them getting some sort of damage from it are a lot higher. Today, WTO says not too bad. The swelling's been going down every day. Wednesday was when my face properly looked up. I can't even make my face go out as far as it did if I tried to inflate my cheeks. The bit under my chin was properly like that as well, when but not like loose skin, but properly. But yeah, every day I can move my mouth a bit more, and the pain in my face goes a bit. Yeah, all this pandemic and I get mumps, but the reason for that, Murray, is although mumps, you'd think that's much harder to get, its R naught is like 4 times higher than corona. So if you're in a building with somebody had mumps and one person with corona, the chance you get mumps is much higher because of how fine, or I guess, the mist is when they cough. Could be a reference to Shakespeare, Joel, if you want, Richard III, but it was just because it's a bit of a shitty winter for everybody, isn't it? Or Christmas, whatever, with ports being blocked, new strains of corona, lockdowns, everybody being ill, economies going down the shitter. Cheers, CJ Kemple. I do feel a lot better now, thank you, Fluzzy. I'm still not fully right yet, but obviously I'm out of the bit where my face looked like a balloon and it hurt permanently. The worst bit was, I think, Wednesday night, Thursday night, and Friday night, or it might have been Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night. I had about 4 hours of sleep across about 3 days, just because of how much it hurt when I tried to sleep. So I'd keep waking up, you'd fall asleep, and then like an hour later, your head would move, your inflated face, hits a bit of the pillow, and then you wake up. So I was operating on like 4 hours of sleep for 72-hour sort of period at one point. But thankfully now, I'm almost sleeping too much, because now I'm in that kind of like recovery stage where your body just wants to make you sleep all the time. Yeah, that's a certain problem, Ron, isn't it? You need something essentially that stops you spreading it to other people as well as catching it yourself. You need you need something that stops the spread of it as well as, means that you don't get it horribly. The US Civil Defense thing behind me, there's a US CDV 750 decimeter charger there. There's a Victorine 450, which isn't a civil defense instrument there. I definitely think I'll get to 100,000 subs at some point in 2021. Because what am I at now? 92,000 or something? Let's have a look. I'm at 92,440 subs now. So if we assume that that's 12 months to get 8k subs, I think I can manage that. No, I am not enjoying the New World Order. As in Polish casualty mask, gas mask. I've got that somewhere. That's the main difference, Daniel. Yes, the difference between the drinking tubes. I've given people away some for free, Joe. But I have to know what it is, and they have to deserve it. Random people just don't get them for free. Yeah, I still like to know where I did get the mumps from, but apparently it's another one of those viruses where you can have like a 3-week incubation period where you can still spread it. All right, somebody's spamming the chat. Goodbye. You can see one right there. Hope you're joking. What do you think that is, actually? I can't get up and show you because of YouTube stream rules. I wouldn't normally even have it in the background, but it's there because I think I was demonstrating the somebody how the bolt mechanism works in a Rubin the other day. You can gas mask new, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's one of those things, under a life and death scenario, it might be a good idea to use one if you've got nothing else. But using old rebreathers is never a recommended thing. All right, have I got slow mode on? If not, I'll just put that on a second. Because if slow mode isn't on, it's not on, but I only put it down for like 15 seconds. Just stops the people who spam the chat over and over. Weirdly, somebody is sending me an air raid siren in the post. But, I don't want to annoy people with noise, so when it comes, I'd only use it at very specific times. Yeah, I've still got the M40. I don't know why people keep spamming the chat about the M40, maybe because it's just the only mask some people know, I don't know. But yeah, I said I'm not going to be on much longer today. I'll be on maybe 5-10 minutes. I just wanted to do a bit of a stream for anybody that could catch it, just for people wondering what was going on and all that. That one is a Schmidt-Rubin 1889, the Swiss service rifle for quite a long time. And it went through all the different stages until it was the K31. I can't get out and show you because of YouTube's weird rules of the stream where you're not meant to handle firearms on the live stream. And that's not a DIAC one either, that's because it falls under Britain's obsolete gun laws. It's a fully functional rifle. But annoyingly, you can't get those anymore for like £500 or less I paid for them. They all seem to be getting up closer to £1,000 now for ones left in stock. So if you see a working, not deactivated Schmidt-Rubin for £500 or less, I go for it. Russian helmet next to rifle, which one are you looking at? The upside down one, that's a Yugoslavian helmet, that one. I don't think there are any Russian helmets in this room. They just sometimes turn up for sale, gas mask noob. Again, don't ask me how they get out. I mean, they're not under ITAR anymore, M40s, but doesn't mean that you can still send them out the States easily. £500 in USD, you could use a translator, but I guess $700, something like that. You can definitely get Rubin rifles in the States, Anthony. If you look up Schmidt Rubin or like K31 or any of that series, they're just like the Swiss service rifles from the late 1800s to like the 1950s odd, when they replaced them with the battle rifles. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it, Nick? And again, I think it's just one of those stupid things where we'll make a rule against something so he can't be held legally responsible for something, you know. One of those rules that doesn't fix anything, just YouTube decided to do it. From what I understand, Anthony, the cheapest surplus rifles to buy normally in the States are Russian Mosin Nagants, aren't they? Well, I'm probably not very far inductive tea cake from a nuke target, and, you know, in some ways that's nice, I think, because it means it'll be over very quickly. Yeah, anyway, I'll head off now because, as I said, my face is still swollen and hurts. The main bit that hurts now is like the two glands there, because when mumps gets really bad, it's the bit that really hurts is your two like saliva glands in your cheeks. There's like one in each cheek. They're like that shape. But yeah, the ones that really hurt now are those ones, and like the jaw, you know, muscles around there where they've all been contracted from the thing. So there might be one or two more videos this year, but for the most part, it'll be next year before I'm uploading regularly again, because at that point I should be a lot better, you know, and not sort of just be fatigued and whatever else. But if I'm still awake, then Mike, I'll be on. So see you all. Have a good evening. Thank you everybody that donated, and might see you on other people's streams, you know, and I might be on a bit more before the end of the year, but yeah, and have a happy Christmas, New Year, happy Hanukkah, or whatever else to all the other people on. And yeah, see you all properly though next year. Right, goodbye.